So we came here from Boston, and we were using an open source software called Drupal. And Drupal at the time was very underdocumented. It's open source, so the engineering really was way accelerated beyond the documentation. And the way that people generally cope with something like this is by coming together and working together. And in Boston, they cope by being in shops together. You know, they'll have a shop and a room, and somebody in the next cube will have the answer. Otherwise, you can beat your head against the wall for days. It's bad. So, I don't know what that means. It's flashing at me. I'm going to do this. So, we came here and we found that the skill level of the developers was kind of low because there were so many freelancers and they weren't collaborating and they weren't taking on bigger projects and they weren't challenging themselves, and there was plenty of work at the level that they were doing, but they weren't going for the really interesting, meaty engineering, oh my God, you can do this with this software and nobody else has done it before, this is so cool, things. They weren't doing that. So we thought of Droplabs. And Droplabs is a location that it's in Lincoln Heights. We were at a conference and I stepped out and nervously asked for a show of hands of anybody who would be interested in a place where freelancers could work together and learn open source programming and develop their careers in conjunction with other people. And we had a fair number of people. So we did a location, looked at a few locations, and we put a notification up saying, hey, we're doing a location. You should come and see this location. And we finally found this great location in Lincoln Heights at Big Art Labs, which was only just starting to get filled up. It was a former paint factory, and it was really cool. And there were a lot of artists there and creative engineering. There was a lot of creative engineering, and I'm like, this is creative computer engineering. Let's put them together and see what happens. And so there's been hardware and software stuff going on between the two, and that's been a wonderful thing. So then we wound up with 7 partners, and we all put in together, and it was like $250 a month, and then we let everybody else come for free. And it was amazing. We got more press with Droplabs than we ever did with our company, Exaltation of Larks, ever. And we got it in the first 3 months, in the first 6 months. Within the first year, we were being recognized as the top Drupal location in the world. And some interesting things started to happen. People who were used to being really socially isolated felt safe. And their personalities changed. And they got stronger. Is there a timer? I don't want to go over. They got stronger. I got 5 minutes? Yes. And their personalities changed. Everything changed about them. And their worlds changed. And they worked together. And then they, on their own, started doing the free classes together and having book groups, and all of this stuff just started happening. And we just sort of stepped back and let it happen, and let's see what happens when this happens, when people get that. Does anybody have any questions?